true nature. And I wasn't going to share this, but I have been running a 28-day active appreciation challenge to celebrate my birthday, which is on Sunday. And we had a conversation today, day 25, actively appreciating fear. And this just seemed like a lightness for me to let you in on my rituality and the opportunity that the new moon always invites us into, really asking and deepening into the practice of what we're wanting to come and bring through into our lives, and also what we're ready to release. And I always like to do some cleansing and purification. I have my sage going, and I was journaling earlier on today, just to really deepen in and get very clear on where I am still holding on to fear. Because there's not a day that I don't believe we're all waking up into fear and into anxiety and the collective consciousness, and especially with this unification of communion in the ninth gate, the portal that opened yesterday, to just invite you to look for the light everywhere. Look for the light with more intensity than ever. And because we are all in this very deep, dense, heavy confusion, as a collective, now more than ever, it's a really good opportunity to deepen into your practice of rituality and do this not just on a new moon or a full moon, but in your daily practice of really holding yourself in your true nature and in the truth of what you've come here to share in the world, and be that lighthouse. Lean into grace and faith and ease and effortlessness, and keep finding and accessing that light that lives within you, and stop looking outside of it. Don't waver in your gratitude for what is good and right now, and know that you are a miracle just by your being here. You are a miracle, and miracles happen every day. So don't let yourself go numb. Don't disassociate. Don't check out, because that's your normal standard operating procedure. Use questions to build your strength, and when you're going to get angry and you're going to get frustrated and you're going to have days that you're devastated and you are so afraid you don't want to climb out of bed, but even on those days when you might fail, to have compassion and patience with yourself, please don't let go of what you know to be true in your bones, in your heart. Go deep down and reconnect with that compassion to bring better, to bring the best version of you that you came here to be out into the world, and share it with people that are looking for the light. Be the lighthouse in your own life. So I wanted to share, and if you haven't listened to today's active appreciation training over on my page, please go ahead and do that if you are feeling anxious or more emotional than usual. I found myself crying at the smallest things today, and I like to use my oracle cards to just deepen into my own practice of rituality and my new moon energies. And I was feeling called to share this because I don't believe that it's just for me. When I asked what is it that I'm ready to release, that I'm ready to let go of, I pulled the trust card from my Lions of Timbavati, the White Lion Leadership cards. And that was the card that came through, was the trust card, which is very personal to me in where I am in my life right now and in my relationships, and that I have been in fear of letting go of certain contracts. And this really is probably the most unconditional, highest card in this deck that really is inviting us to look at sacred contracts, and where you are needing perhaps to make new contracts in your life, and make sure that it is fair to all parties involved without going into blame or shame or right or wrongness. Don't make yourself wrong. So I invite you to take this card as the first card that I drew in. What is it that I require to let go of right now? And perhaps this is a reminder for you to also just not forget your own ongoing sacred contract to just honor Mother Earth and the mother in you. And this for the lion warrior shamans that are really working on this higher consciousness level, which is all you lighthouses. This card is really about inviting you to give unconditionally without counting the cost. And I was talking about this today, is not making anything more valuable than you, and to just keep giving generously, because you're entering into a contract. So just trust your universal law and the divine workings of the universe, because you have made agreements. And maybe in the light of the question that I asked, this is very personal to me, in that there are certain contracts that I need to dissolve right now in my life. And perhaps for you it may also be in the reverse. But just know that the universe has your back, and just set your intention to give back in return. If you've experienced a contract being broken, or maybe you're being reminded that at a soul level there's a higher contract exists that perhaps you've forgotten about. So just remember your contract with nature, with your true nature, and get really, really clear in your heart and in your mind what lies ahead of you in your undertaking to either new contracts coming into your life, or maybe the dissolution of old contracts. So that was the first card that I pulled in my own rituality that may resonate with you. And the second card that I pulled of what is it that I am willing, and what is it that I need to be aware of in bringing into my life to make it better. Hi, Christina. Was the card, the protection card, which is just again reminding us that your lion heart, your heart, having an open heart, being vulnerable, is not an enemy. It's your guardian spirit. And this again is very personal to me in what I've been calling into my life, and how I can use this powerful new moon energy, this super moon, to really look at how divinely protected I am at this time, that I'm not alone, and that there is actually nothing to fear. So I invite you to call in the lioness on this card of protection and great protector. Call in Archangel Michael to provide all the protection that you need if you ever doubted that you were not protected divinely, because they're always with us, and all you need to do is call upon them and they'll be there. And just know that this card in what is coming in, so in the futuring, in the envisioning of what I'm asking for, again, apply this to areas of your life if you resonate with it, that you may need to do some spiritual battle, but you're joined by forces of light. You are a lighthouse. And in times of trouble or danger or stress, you can call upon this angelic light spirit to really, really guard over you, and know that you're connected directly to the divine. And this beautiful white lion is there with you. She is the light, and she's asking me, and I want you to apply this to your own life. She's asking that you step into and accept the role of your spiritual guides to access your true inner power, because a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. I know that's certainly true for me. I often give more potency away to my inner saboteurs than I do to my wise women. So stand in your light and take whatever action your heart tells you is for the greater good. Don't hold yourself back by doing battle with phantoms and shadows. Use the shadows. Appreciate them, just as we can appreciate fear is there as our greatest guide, our greatest facilitator, because we are divinely protected. So conquer your doubts, face your fear, and once you've accepted the symbol of white lions as your angelic highest form of supreme protection, then you can start to call upon these sacred animals for divine intervention at any time. So follow your path, follow the light and the truth, and use your journaling, just as I have done tonight. Use your journaling to write down all the things that you're afraid of. I know a lot of times, even though my life is abundant, I still get afraid that I won't be able to provide for myself and my daughter and my animals, and I won't be able to do the things that I want to do in my life. And so I write about that, and I give it voice, and I love it anyway. I really deepen into the appreciation of that. And because we're talking about fear and doubt, and oftentimes using the divine essence of Oracle is just your inner voice. It's your divine warrior, love warrior within that just gives us physical form. I pulled another 2 cards on those exact same questions, and surprise, surprise, the first card to deepen into trust that came up from another deck that I absolutely love by Linda Kohanoff is The Way of the Horse, was the card, the card of Chiron. And that is the message of the wounded healer. So in looking at what is it that I require and most need to let go of and burn up in the ashes of the new moon and let go of, was this Chiron archetype that really guards and reminds us that we often want to avoid looking at what we need for ourselves. And we do that by fixing others. So if you're a healer or an alternative medicine practitioner or a coach or a mentor, or you're in the business as your joy, be aware of where you perhaps are getting into fixing others, where you're ignoring your own unresolved challenges and trauma. So for me, the trust card, along with this card of Chiron, gave me a lot of insight into where I actually need to look at letting go of things that I have been hesitant to let go of because I've been afraid, so that opportunities for expansion can come into me in new and exciting ways that perhaps I haven't given voice to yet. And this is really that multidisciplinary genius, that holistic healing of the wounded healer, where the gift is in trusting our intuition, of our instinct, of our reasons to give rise to our own inner brilliance, our diamond brilliance and our genius, that we often overlook or pass off as not worthy or good enough or ready enough. So again, perhaps you would like to journal on where you are still carrying these old wounds that are ready to release right now, any old traumas, any grudges, any places where you're still angry or frustrated with yourself or other people, and really give yourself that space to push pause and have a deeper integration of body and mind and spirit without waiting until you have a healing crisis. Really access the wisdom behind the wound. So always in divine timing, and again, just absolute power of our own divinity and our own fragility in using rituality and the cards like this to let go of everything that you no longer need, that might not be serving you anymore. Again, very relevant to my own personal life. And also what you're being asked to call in, and what you need to deepen into in creating the future, in the desires that you are asking for to show through right now. So in that card, I pulled also from the Way of the Horse, this card, in asking what needs to come through, and that is the card of authentic power. So, again, looking at divine protection, of accessing your inner light, of being the lighthouse, and really knowing that it's your duty, actually, to share that light with others so that others can find their way. This card of authentic power, again, just reminds us to not hold back, to really look at balance and flexibility and agility, and to strengthen into how can I serve in a higher, greater good of myself and all of those that are looking for me to find me. And the challenge, again, to know that it has to happen on all 5 levels of body, mind, and spirit in order to live an abundant life. So, this card, again, is really just reminding me, and I would be interested for you to tell me what comes up for you, to not be impatient, to be able to push pause, to slow down, because we're all so addicted to instant gratification, and we're all addicted to speed as a measure of horsepower, and we're buying into this fantasy of the Wild West, rather than taking the time to become one with your physical body, your animal body, as well as your emotional and mental and etheric bodies, and the body of work that you're creating, and the body of abundance, and whatever it is for you. So, be aware of where you may be rushing and trying to bypass, spiritually or physically or in any other way, maybe avoiding doing the work. This is really the work, and it takes constant daily practice. It's not something you can just do once, but you've got to be willing. And for me, that takeaway on what I'm requiring of myself, my commitment and my demand of how I move through and into the abundance in my future starts now. So, being willing to interpret very subtle shifts in communication, in movement, to look at where you are perhaps needing to recalibrate and rebalance yourself, and the subtle cues, and stop looking for big forceful movements. Take it as a sign, and grow into patience and understanding what it truly means for you to be physically and emotionally and mentally fit. It requires doing the work. It requires doing this on a daily basis, so that you can really tune in and learn to ride well. Listen to your horse, and your life will change. So know that true power is not a rodeo. In the Way of the Horse, it's a very long explanation of this, but she, in summary of the ask of this card for me, it's really to take horse wisdom and slow down, to tap into the quiet potency and power that you are and what you have to bring into the world. That it's a gift, and it's a very seasoned self-awareness. So bring that look at where can you bring that into all areas of your life, and your home, and your relationships, and your money flows, and your work. And keep going inch by inch as a cinch, yard by yard is hard. I always say that. So if you're going to reach your potential and remain really sound and strong in the long run, you have to realize that you are resourceful, and also learn to receive the resources and support and relationships that come from mindful, intentional conditioning. The training it's all in the training. And to be collected as a human being, we have to really feel. We have to feel into the emotional body, and notice where we're off center, where we need to go back on track, realign with our North Star and our compass direction, and bring in from the ethers, from the air, the vision, and ground it into the earth, so that you can really make choices and decisions and move with the flexibility in any direction, completely protected and completely immersed in the moment. So be present and really embrace the possibilities that are available to you if you just lean into trust and see your wounds as the greatest gift, but not something that you need to keep carrying into your future, that they've served their part in your life and it's time to let them go. So journal about that. Let me share your thoughts and your insights on these cards. I hope that this was helpful, and I wish you a happy, beautiful, loving appreciation of this supermoon power in Gemini. Good night, all.